What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now on today's episode, my goal is to show you guys how to prepare your lawn tractor for spring and summer duties. Now this tractor hasn't been used since leaf cleanup back in the fall. It's pretty dirty right now, so we're going to go ahead and do some maintenance to it to keep this thing in tip-top shape. No matter if you've got a John Deere tractor, a Troy-Bilt, or any other brand, the maintenance is relatively close. There might be a few variances, but let's go ahead and get started on the maintenance on this John Deere tractor. And this right here is the lawn tractor we'll be working on today. This is my 2005 John Deere GX345 with the Kawasaki twin engine. Let's go ahead and show you guys what we plan to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and detach the deck from the tractor itself. That way we can flip this thing over, take the blades off, clean the underside of the deck, and sharpen them up. We also need to do some lubrication points on the spindles. Now, in addition to the 3 Zerk fittings for the spindles on the deck, we have a Zerk fitting here on the steering. Now, depending on what tractor you might have, whether you bought it from Home Depot or you bought it from a tractor place, this tractor right here in particular has got some greasing points right here on the steering. And here's the Zerk fitting on the right-hand side. Okay, let's go ahead and carefully open up the hood on the tractor and show you the engine. Key word is careful, because these hoods are known to crack, even though I've reinforced mine with fiberglass on the underside. Now, I don't know if you guys can see on the underside of this hood, but this is a brand new top piece, and I actually reinforced this thing with fiberglass because for whatever reason, these hoods are known to crack. So I wanted to go ahead and alleviate that issue. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the engine. Now, this is like a pre-filter system right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing off, shake this thing off as best I can. I'm gonna inspect the air filters underneath. And over here on the right-hand side of the engine is we've got the oil filter, we got the oil fill, and you got the coolant reservoir right there. And then we'll also have access to 1 spark plug and wire. Now, many people might be wondering why these older John Deere tractors are such good items. And let me go ahead and show you guys why. We got a Kawasaki that's made in Japan, and basically this is a liquid cooled V-twin engine, 20 horsepower. And I believe this is a sleeved engine as well, which basically means that there's sleeves inside the piston area, which will prolong the life of this engine. And moving on to the left side of the engine, again, we got the Kawasaki tag right there. And then we got access to 1 spark plug. I believe that's our starter. There's our fuel filter. And there's our battery. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the worst part, which is the deck. So I need to go ahead and remove the deck from the actual tractor itself. And the first thing I need to do is remove my aftermarket bumper with these 2 bolts that are held in place. Once this bumper is removed, I need to go ahead and disconnect the center part of this bumper, which basically pulls off with snaps. So I'll carefully remove the steel bumper and the plastic center bumper, and then I'm going to come over here to this rod, I'm going to push this thing forward, and it's going to release the tension on the belt that's on the underside here. And then once we have all the tension relieved from the belt itself, we'll go ahead on the front side and take this lever, and I believe we swing this lever down, and this deck will actually hit the ground right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the deck off the John Deere tractor. Okay, let me go ahead and show you guys where I'm at with the deck removal. Now, on the underside of the mower, there's 2 main connections, well actually 3. Let me go ahead and show you. So towards the back side of the deck, you got this sheet metal right here. So this lever right here actually pulls outwards with a spring, and then once you have this inserted into the sleeve right here, that's basically what locks it in. Okay, so again on the rear side, you got this lever hooked up to a spring, and you see how it basically pulls out. So once you have this metal into this sleeve right here, and this hole's aligned, basically you pull this out, and that basically locks in the deck on the back side with the 2 points. And briefly right here on the front, got more sunshine, so let me go ahead and show you guys. So this is the bar that attaches to the front chassis of the mower. And what I had to do is take the deck, move it forward, and then get it out of position And then once this deck is moved forward, I was able to lift up this lever, and you see the little channel right here, and there's another channel on the left-hand side of the deck right there. Okay, now the deck is officially detached from the mower itself. Now I got the wheels turned at a 90-degree angle, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull the deck outwards this way, because this deck weighs a lot. So let's go ahead and get the deck removed from the mower. Okay, one of the toughest parts is now complete. Got the deck slid out from the underside of the mower. Now I know this thing is filthy dirty with all the leaves and whatnot. That was from me chopping up leaves in the fall. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this cover right here. I'm gonna remove this cover right here. As you can see, I got nuts and bolts holding this in position. And I do have a mulching attachment on the underside of this deck. So as you can see, I've got some wing nuts right there. One here, I believe one right there. I'm gonna go ahead and take all those wing nuts off, because what I want to do is I want to take off the mulching kit off the underside of the deck, thoroughly clean the underside of the deck once I have this thing flipped over. And then we're going to go ahead and pull the blades off, get those things sharpened. So let's go ahead, start removing these covers, and then once we have the covers removed, we'll go ahead and flip this deck over carefully and get access to the underside and see what we're working with. And here's the underside of the deck of the John Deere. And what I'm seeing right here is not much grass accumulation on the bottom side. That's a good thing. I usually cut my lawn and field in the back when it's dry. You don't want to cut a wet lawn, otherwise it'll just clog up the underside of your deck. And then these plastic pieces, basically these are attachments for the mulching kit. So you can either have a side chute, or you can actually get a John Deere bagging attachment, which I will never bag grass in my life. So let's go ahead and check the condition of these blades. And as you can see, these blades have a little bit of chewed up action right here. I mean, just look at that right there. That's pretty chewed up. Yeah, just look at the gouge right there in the center blade. And here's the other side. Just to give you an idea. And here's the one on the opposite side. Yeah, it's definitely chewed up. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get my impact gun and take these bolts off, and that'll undo the blades. And then we're gonna go ahead and sharpen these blades up, and I'm gonna go ahead and take off the mulching kit, and then we're gonna clean as best we can on the underside of this deck. So let's go ahead and continue the disassembly on the underside of the deck. All right, underside of the deck is fully stripped down. Got the 3 main blades off with my impact wrench. Got the mulching plates off. And let me go ahead and show you guys what accumulation of grass we have. It's just a little bit down here and a big chunk over here, which it's not too bad. And then right here on the underside, I actually used some stainless steel screws and washers in order to hold the guards for the pulleys above. So we'll go ahead and hold these things down, and I need to drop the plastic covers that are on the top of the deck, because basically I need to hold these and then go on the underside and unscrew that. So there's a cover on this side and a cover on this side. And as you can see with the screw right here, this thing is not rusted whatsoever. That's the joy of stainless steel. So we'll go ahead and lightly scrape the deck with a plastic scraper, get all the remnants that we can, and then we'll go ahead and get the blades sharpened up on the bench grinder. Lawnmower deck is officially cleaned off. Just look at all the debris that was stuck on the top and bottom. Anyhow, just make sure to thoroughly get underneath all these spindles right here with a screwdriver and whatnot. Okay, so now this deck is clean, let's go ahead and grease up the spindles. So we have a Zerk fitting right here, another Zerk fitting right there, and another Zerk fitting right here. So let's go ahead, take our grease gun and lubricate those spindles right there. Okay, deck is officially done. Got all 3 blades sharpened up, reinstalled. Got the mulching kit reinstalled on the underside. Got the spindles greased up, and also greased up the 4 guide wheels on the corners. So we can go ahead, flip the deck over to get ready for reinstallation. But first, let's go ahead and put emphasis on the tractor itself. So let's go ahead and grease up the steering joints right here with the Zerk fitting on both left side and the right side. Let's take care of that, and then we'll address the oil change. Now, one more thing before we go ahead and get messy with the oil change, let's go ahead and change out the spark plugs. So there's one on the left side, another one on the right side. And if you're working with a GX345, this is the part number I'm using, NGK7734. So let's go ahead and unplug the spark plug, take out the spark plug, and reinstall a new one. Okay, got both spark plugs replaced on the right side and left side. Now let's go ahead and focus on the oil change. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the mower, let the oil get warmed up a little bit, not too hot, and then we'll cut it off and we'll drain the oil. Let me show you how to drain the oil. Now right here is your oil filler neck. As you follow this route down, looks like you actually attach a rubber tube to the bottom here, but there's actually a 10mm bolt right here that you undo. And once you undo this little 10mm right here, all the oil should come right here. So since we have the deck off the mower, this is ample opportunity. Just go ahead and slide the oil container underneath here to catch all the oil and let that thing drain. And then once all the oil is drained, we'll go ahead and proceed with replacing the oil filter right here. So I'm gonna go ahead, start the mower up. I'm not gonna bore you with that content. And once this oil is warmed up, we can go ahead and slide the container underneath the mower, and then we'll go ahead and drain it. So let's go ahead and take care of this. Okay, the majority of the engine oil is drained for the most part, a little bit of dripping there. I went ahead and got aluminum foil to make a slide, and that's basically for the oil filter area. You got this little lip right here, but this thing will be a mess around the frame rails. So if you want to keep things nice and clean on your engine, just go ahead and make a makeshift little slide, aluminum foil or cardboard, whatever you want to use. And I was able to remove the oil filter by hand, which is a good thing. You never want to tighten up an oil filter with a wrench. And this is the oil filter we'll be using today. This one's made by STP. I was in a bind to get an oil filter pretty quickly, and AutoZone had one. So here's your part number if you want to go ahead and buy this yourself at your local parts store. So before we go ahead and install the new oil filter, you want to flip this thing on the bottom side, and there's a rubber seal right there. So just take your finger and put some oil along the rubber seal. Doesn't even need too much, but you just need to put some oil on there and whatnot. And then once we have that rubber seal full of oil, go ahead and take your oil filter and hand tighten it onto the engine. Don't use wrenches and whatnot. So let's go ahead, reinstall the oil filter, and at the same time, we'll go ahead and tighten up this 10mm bolt right here. And then we'll go ahead and fill this thing with some motor oil. Now on the left-hand side fender of some of the older John Deeres, I'm not sure if the new ones have this, but open this lid up, and you're going to see some information here for the maintenance schedule and whatnot. But on the right-hand side is information on the oil. So for above 32 degrees Fahrenheit, you want 10W30 oil. And then we're going to come down here. We have a GX345, and that requires 2 quarts right there. And for the oil we'll be using today, this is AMSOIL full synthetic 10W30 small engine. It only requires 2 quarts, so we'll go ahead and empty both containers into the oil filler cap right there. So let's go ahead and open up the filler cap, put a funnel there, and dump the oil in. Okay, now that we completed the oil change, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let me go ahead and show you guys 2 more things on this. Now there's also a fuel filter and an air filter on this mower. Now I bought this mower used, and the guy had it serviced at John Deere right before he sold it to me. And I'm looking at the service interval. Now taking a look at the fuel filter schedule right here, it's indicating every 200 hours or 2 years. So let's go ahead and take a look at that fuel filter. So right in front of the battery is the fuel filter. That's right there. And that looks pretty clean right there. Luckily it's clear. So I might go ahead and replace this fuel filter eventually sometime this season, but I don't have that part right now, but I'm just going to show you where it's at. Basically disconnect those 2 hoses, take the old one out, put the new one in, reconnect the hoses. Now I believe the air filter for this Kawasaki engine is right here in the front. Basically take the screen, lift it up, and there's an encasement right here. I didn't buy an air filter, but I need to go ahead and check that, but you might want to go ahead and check yours on your mower. Alrighty, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Got the oil changed, got the spark plugs changed out, got the steering lubed up. Now let's go ahead, take the deck we've been working on, flip that thing upside right, and let's slide underneath, and we'll go ahead and make the connections. Alrighty guys, we're officially ready for mowing season. Got this John Deere GX345 maintained. Went ahead, took the deck out, got the blade sharpened, got the spindles lubricated, and got the wheels lubricated. Cleaned all the grass clippings on the bottom side. Got the engine oil changed out, got a new oil filter, new spark plugs, lubed up the steering system. Now one piece of advice, once your deck is removed from the mower, go ahead and clean out the frame rails. These frame rails are in a C shape right here, and you have straight access underneath. So just go ahead and take the debris out. Basically it's like a shelf for all the debris to sit in there. And just look at all the grass clippings and dirt and whatnot that was accumulated. So I mean, this stuff can get wet and it can start up the rust process, and you don't want that. So it's just a piece of advice, go ahead, clean up the frame rails once this deck is removed. So there's one last thing to do. Go ahead and do a lawn cut. See how this thing performs. Alrighty guys, apologies about this long video, but didn't want to leave any detail left behind. We are now officially ready for spring and summer grass cutting season with all the work we've done here. Now this stuff takes some time to get completed, but these machines need some maintenance just like cars and trucks do. So go ahead, take a look at your manufacturer's maintenance schedule on your tractor to see exactly when these items need to be performed to make it perform at its peak. Now if you have any questions about lawn tractor maintenance or anything related to my old John Deere, please feel free to comment below. And with that said, if you found this video helpful or entertaining, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.